5, 4, 3. Oh my god, if I could count down before I nut every time, I'd love it.
Yeah. I think there's like a mental timer for sure. Like when you first feel it, you're like, I got 30 seconds from here to there.
I have I will intentionally think of the most absurd things. One time, one time I grabbed my phone and I turned the dim all the way down because, in the dark it's like a flashlight,
Yeah, yeah,
and I began to basically just scroll through Twitter, Reddit, like read things,
yeah. Yeah.
and it
You
helped.
get you gotta
I
start
went back to
finding.
work immediately after. But sometimes, come on, man, no one's perfect. Sometimes we need a little help.
You gotta start thinking about Blurns Ball from Futurama.
Like what?
Blurns Ball. It's. I wish we could pull the scene up, but it's like the futuristic baseball variant. You know, people are always like, think about baseball or something. You're like,
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. I
think about
vaguely
Blurns
remember
Ball
that.
from Futurama.
So, yeah, so that's what I did. But yeah, we all got to do what we got to do. Ben Stiller, I think he counts to 50. Was that it in Along Came Polly?
Oh man, I don't remember.
I love that fucking movie. I cannot. It's not, dude. The scene in the bathroom when he clogs the toilet. I don't know why that
Yeah,
that scene just cracks me up the way it does.
dude, that's anxiety right there. I can feel it. It's like a worst nightmare scenario. So fucked up.
Something similar like that happened,
Something
except like,
similar like that happened to me earlier today.
well, like I went on a first date and I was supposed to have some sushi and that was fine, but I didn't have the foresight to think ahead. I'm very much like I live in the moment type of person. And so what happened was I had Burger King before that. So I had Burger King plus sushi. And then it's like, Katati basically like shuts it down at like 10 o'clock unless you're over 21, which I don't think I was at the time. And I had to take a fat fucking dump. And I ended up having to do it in her place. And that bitch didn't have toilet paper.
Ooh, that's rough.
And I
Maybe
was in
she.
there, and I was in there long enough,
It
just
was like
long
somebody
enough
over.
that you couldn't just like assume I was taking a long pee.
Who's
As
gonna have
long enough,
somebody
I'm
over
just
and doesn't
young,
have toilet paper? That's crazy.
and I'm just young enough to fucking care and freak out. I'm like,
Dude,
no,
maybe she was one of those fabled women that don't poop.
maybe.
Maybe.
But anyway, yeah, yeah. So I mean, we've all had our Along Came Polly moment.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It was it along came Polly where he she used his hair gel.
no, that was There's Something About Mary.
Right. Was that also Ben Stiller too though? I feel like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben, Ben Stiller, I guess he just makes some solid movies.
Yeah.
Meet the Parents, Meet the Fuckers. That trilogy was, I heavily enjoyed that
Iconic.
trilogy.
It was iconic. He's good. He's a male nurse.
I remember when Meet the Fuckers was there, and I was like, I can't believe they got away with it. Like just having that as a title.
Meet the Fockers. Yeah. I think Robert De Niro. I think that was like the first movie I saw him in, and that he was like a funny character, and I thought he did a good job.
I'm just letting the world know that we're on live. So before we went live, we were talking about like, we I think you and I, like, if we were like working together or people on the line, we're pretty like comfortable with like, hey man, if you need to call out, call out. If you need me to cover you, hey, take care of yourself. It's just a job, dude. Don't let your own pride and ego and competitiveness get to it. But sometimes it's like you need to shut the fuck up and do the work. sometimes it's I'm sorry, but sometimes it doesn't matter if you're having a bad mental health week. You know, rent, the bills aren't really going to wait for that. And it's not my place nor your place to be like telling anyone, in my opinion, like how to balance that. I think we're all we all figure it out, and but I think for the most part, most people, there's it's like if you do a graph, there'd be like a perfect little center where we can all meet more or less. So we
I
were
think for me, it's like if you're gonna show up to work, don't fucking complain all day because you're pissed off about whatever's going on, or you don't like what's going
yeah, I mean,
on at work, or it's rough. Like just like don't be complaining all fucking
if
day.
you're sick, you're not feeling well, that's fine. But if I have to
Just stay
hear it
home.
after a while, as I then go home, shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
N- no one made you come in.
No.
You can say no. You know. So we were reading these together, and I'll read it. The first one is buffet and cook off menu alone. What the fuck? It says, I got to bitch quick, and I appreciate your opinions. What would you do in this situation? Small town cafe. I cook breakfast solo every shift, and it sucks. Now I have to do a buffet and cook off the menu this morning. Having my only smoke now. It's bullshit. No one here has done it because they just got a new owner. Just because it's easy food doesn't make it any easier. I don't want to serve shit food, but how can I not? Almost 90 degrees outside, and the kitchen is not climate controlled. Solo, cooking off menu, and buffet for 5 hours. I make the same as the other cooks who have help on their busy shifts. Quitting isn't an option. What would you do? What? And I'm going to tell you again, which is what I told you. I would get back to work. I would go back. Like, that. Yeah, that sucks, dude. If it's that bad, start looking around. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know what
Yeah.
you expect anyone to do. Like, oh, that sucks, bro. That really sucks. Oh.
I'd say working solo is always rough, but like
And
power
can
to
I
it,
just
man.
go ahead and say, maybe I'm crazy, but like buffet for 5 hours, that sounds really easy to me.
Yeah, you're
Like,
just reheating stuff. I feel like you're cooking
if
up
if
chickens
if
or
you're doing it like off the cuff, you know, if you're if you're doing it off the cuff, that's fine. So you're just cooking in like larger portions and pots, bigger saute pans. If you already knew about it, everything should be already prepped up.
but
Remember when we would
buffets
have
pretty
like
much do
parties
it.
upstairs? They'd reserve everything, and we'd have like
Yeah,
6 saute pans in the walk-in, just like ready with mac or whatever.
but also it's a buffet. It sounds like I'm sure that most of the stuff comes frozen. You just whip it up, put it together, and serve it.
It's Yeah.
Can't be that hard.
I mean,
It
look,
really
look, dude.
can't
It
be that
sucks that
hard.
you're alone, but check this out. It's not his fault. Like if he fails and he does the best that he can, like it sucks when something fails. But there are situations where it's like, no, man, like you were simply set up to fail. Sometimes it genuinely really
I
isn't
wonder
your
if this
fault.
guy's doing his own dishes too. That would be rough.
Oh, oh man, can you imagine if it was just him in the dishwasher? He
Yeah.
has to have at least a dishwasher.
Yeah,
That's something I feel like if he didn't have it, he would definitely have mentioned that.
I was gonna say that's the Omar days. Just
Oh
be
my.
late night, me and Omar, you and Omar, us three sometimes.
We had fun. Like at the end of if we knew it's like, okay, we're gonna eat a shit sandwich tonight, it's like, all right, let's start off with a shot and let's get this going.
A little glass of wine.
A little glass of wine, even if it
Glass of
wasn't
wine.
blessed by the front of house manager. The front of house manager was chill, but
But they
sometimes
don't know when they leave, they won't hurt them, right?
John Taffer isn't there with the little scales.
I didn't see any
You're
scales.
overpouring.
Hold on, dude. It's like every time I would get a shot from the bar there for my shift or after, you see the little 2 ounce measurement cup whip out, and you're like, God damn. Like, why do I work so hard for this place? I don't even get a heavy pour.
I really liked that the flamingo would just flat out give you a pitcher
Yeah,
for yourself. You'd get a pitcher and a cup.
at the place I work at right now, If I want to, like after I work, if I want to go drink at the bar, I could drink until I was fucking was turfed, you know. But
Hmm.
that's nice and all that. It's more insulting when a place doesn't do it. It's kind of like they're like fuck you. It feels like a fuck you, right?
I mean, I've seen it both ways where I can see why companies do that. Like we had a like at Equus, there was a situation where servers would go to the bar after work, and this bar would be open really late. I mean, maybe till 2 a.m. I never stayed that late, but they stayed open late. And there was always like a crowd, at night because it was like a lounge. So
So
it's
so they're taking a bar space essentially.
they're taking up bar space. They're for yeah, flirting with the customers, but they
That's
just don't.
yeah, yeah. That's a little
Manager
odd.
doesn't like it when the server literally clocks out, takes her apron off, and then boom starts hitting shots. It doesn't affect her work, but it's just not a good look, you know?
Right. She's off the clock, but you're like, huh? Like you're
A
still
lot of
representative of our
a
bar,
lot of places
or
have they do just don't sit at the bar. You can be in the restaurant, you can do not sit at the bar. That is for the customers.
there's a few places I worked at. Everybody just got their own table at the end of the night. You know, and you hang out for a little bit and drink.
Yeah, like find the table where they're doing the rolling, you know,
The rolling.
whirling
Yeah.
silverware.
Oh, yeah, yeah. At Brewster's, that's what they have. Like the way it's kind of set up like a fucking. It reminds me of like one of the Viking longhouses, just rows of long ass benches. They're
Hmm.
all big ass tables. Everybody sits there. It's like how they fucking set up the restaurant. But one of the tables would get taken over at the end of the night for rolling serviettes and the utensils and stuff like that. So you just hang out there and drink, eat your food, whatever.
Yeah. Another post that kind of went along with this buffet, kind of like I guess what we would like. I don't know. I guess it's that fine line between like some might say it's venting. I'm kind of leaning toward more towards bitching. Just lost my shit because a customer sent back the chicken for her dog. Our chicken breasts are marinated in olive oil, roasted garlic, and oregano. A customer ordered a plain chicken breast for her dog. I grabbed the chicken and rinsed it and grilled it up. I hate cooking for animals. I find it demeaning, but whatever. Money is money. Then she sent it back because she could tell it was only rinsed. She needed it completely plain. Lost my shit so much that one of our regulars came back into the kitchen to hug me and tell me I'm a valued member of the community. Shout out, Mama Donna. This gave me such I hadn't read this. This is my first time really reading it through, and it just gives me such Aiden vibes. Like the amount of like creating a scene when it doesn't need to be that a customer in front of house has to come in. Not a
I mean,
customer, not a front of house.
if someone asks for something and you cut a corner and you get called on it, I think you gotta correct, right? Like you
Yeah.
try to just rinse it off, and the customer was like, no, like. But it for me, it was the whole he needed a hug because of it.
Yeah, no,
Don't
l-
like
you
get back to
made
the least
such a
with that part.
scene. You made such a scene that a customer went into the kitchen. I'd have secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah, all you have to do is grill a fucking chicken breast. It's easy. It's fucking the easiest
I
part of
hate
your
cooking
job,
for
probably.
animals. When do you cook for
Yeah,
animals?
that's
Like,
kind
is
of
it a
weird too.
thing?
Like, what's demeaning about it? Like every time a dog would come in, a dog just by itself. But people bring their dogs in to, especially where I'm at. You got outdoor seating. Like I'm always happy to give some free chicken to a dog. You know,
I'm the
I don't
opposite.
charge them. I would love to feed a dog. It's great.
I roll my eyes and do a big ugh when I see a dog come into any restaurant.
Well,
And then when
so
I
we're outdoor seating. You know, it's all like one big deck with all the tables. Like we encourage people to bring their animals. When I would see them at the bird, people bring like I mean, obviously a service animal is perfect, but people bring like their little teacup purse chihuahua or fucking Pomeranian or something. Like, get that fucking dog out of here. One lady had it walking on the table one time, and that fucking just pissed me
that's
off. It was gross. I hated it.
I'm just gonna say that I'm gonna hope that that's not a representative of animal people. No, I kind of just no. I think it's too. I think some places just go extra when they have like a bowl, like a dish bowl for him or anything.
Yeah,
But
we
that,
have
but
we have
that's
bowls at my work for
but
dogs
that's
and stuff.
me. Like I'm really not a dog person, so
That's
I
fair.
can't. That being said, I'm not a dog person. I don't like dogs going into restaurants. But that being said, if you told me, hey, you need to cook, cook this day one for the dog, yeah, fine, whatever, dude. Like it
Yeah.
was just one more item on the grill.
It's easy too. Like I said, it's unseasoned fucking chicken breast. You just throw it on there and let it sit. You don't even have to worry about like it being dry or anything. The dog's gonna eat it.
Grabbed the chicken and rinsed it and grilled it up. Wouldn't rinsing it make it plain? What
Well,
does
I
he
mean,
mean?
it really depends. Like some dogs are very like temperamental with their stomach issues and stuff. I would hate to like I had a German Shepherd when I was younger. If they got anything that had oil, like a lot of oil on it,
Mm-hmm.
they'd they'd fucking shit all over the place.
That's gross.
Yep, yep.
So these two guys, yeah, you know what? It sucks when you have to do a big party by yourself. But I mean, I've been in situations where I have been in a situation where it was Sunday and this was at the Flamingo. So they have the people, I forgot what they're called, but they're basically the people that serve the food when there's an event. Waiters, the wait
The food
staff,
runners and stuff.
food runners.
Yeah,
But because the Flamingo was an event thing, they would be the ones, carrying like the food. It's like, would you like to try this hors d'oeuvre, sir? They're
yeah.
doing that. One of them wanted to be a server at the lounge, so they made her a server at the lounge, and they just scheduled her that day. The manager showed her how to use. I think gave her a quick rundown of the POS, but she wasn't trained at all. Like she didn't know how to like she didn't know how to take multiple orders. She was like, say, stacking tickets. That's when like you see the problem there. So now
Yeah.
imagine a rush where she's like, okay, I'll seat everyone. I'm gonna take everyone's order and I'm gonna put the food in all at the same time. What do you expect me to do? Like like, of course I was mad. Of course there's no I I didn't care that it was her new day, but it's like, what am I gonna do? I figured it out. We made it work. Me and the other guy made it work, but it just sucked. All the food
Sounded
was late.
great.
The food was late. Service that night was atrocious. It was my first time like having to cook chicken by just getting it a sear and then throwing it into the oven, except
Mm-hmm.
they weren't doing any sort of like time or using timers. I was working with the you just know when it's done type of cook. You learn with time type of cooks.
I mean,
Which is
why
fair
why
once you
not
know.
dial it? Why not dial it down to a science?
Why not
Like,
dial it down to where you could tell the next person how long? Like, hey, 12
yeah,
minutes.
hard sear and then throw it in the oven for fucking 17 minutes, or something like that. Like you do
Anyway,
with
I
half
got
chickens.
I got like two chickens sent back because they were raw,
Yeah,
and
that
it's
happens.
like no one taught me. Like it was my first time being thrown on
Oh,
saute.
and you imagine the shit you get if you busted out the meat thermometer at any point.
Yeah.
Could you imagine people would look at you crazy?
So I mean, like that's happened to me being a super noob, and then you just get thrown with another super noob, and then it just creates a one big clusterfuck. Yeah, come on, how can I not? How can I
I
not
think
be upset?
it's even worse when like your front of house is noob and then you're also noob. You're like trying to figure it out together, but neither of you really know what the fuck you're doing. It's like one
You
thing
know,
if like if the front of house guy is inexperienced but the kitchen staff is good, they can kind of help out a little bit and be like, like do it this way, like trust me on this. But it's just not gonna work.
you know what I want to try here on live. I know that most music is copyrighted and you can't play it, but I wonder if we play from someone we know and just have it as like a little background. chill vibing music.
Mm.
Because I was telling Mo like his music is like it's almost
Ooh.
like lo-fi hip hop. I mean, it borderlines that.
It's free. Free advertisement for him too.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Let
Mo,
me
if you watch this at any point, don't sue us for copyright
share
infringement.
screen. Uh, there you go. Share it. I mean, we'll just have fun. It'll be background. We'll still talk about what we're talking about, but it's like, why?
Give me 1 second.
Why can't we have like a little background music?
Yeah, of course.
You fucking weirdos! Like you guys like working in like
I'll be back.
absolute
One second.
silence. I like working with a little music in the background. Please go check out Grimy Mo Bucks. This is our favorite chef, our favorite fry cook, listening to his beats. Now, while Aaron's gone, this is actually a great time to tell you about the sponsor of this podcast. The After Service podcast is sponsored by Esty and Philistine, after service clothing for those who wear the kitchen on their sleeves. Founded by the idea that we are not one thing, SD and Philistine is an acknowledgement of both the loftier and depraved sides of humanity, a nod to us all, recognizing that all humans are tragically and triumphantly both. Never praising or devaluing one over another, we simply acknowledge, not judge, that we are at all once both SD and Philistine. Nowhere more apparent than in the professional kitchen. SD and Philistine. Check them out at AESPHIL.com. That's AESPHIL.com. You know, I used to feel very SD going into work. And then towards the end, towards that, when that all in hits, I feel so Philistine. You know when I would change to Philistine? After 7 p.m. There's something about that first wave. It's the most aggressive wave. That 5 p.m. to like 8 o'clock rush. It doesn't hit quite as much as like the 8:30 to 9:30 rush.
Yeah, you're still bright eyed. You know, you're still feeling good about the day and everything. Then you have that lull. Everybody takes their smoke breaks, and then you come back and you get hit again, and you're like, I hate this. This is fucking awful.
Yeah, so
Are you playing Mo's music in the background right now?
this is 100%. Do you see this screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is his Chevy Box, produced by Grammy Bucks. He has a playlist, which I'm really happy. That way, it'll just play into the next song. But like, listen, like we're having this conversation, and the music just goes. Like this music is so perfect in Southern Colorado. Southern
Oh yeah.
Colorado, it looks like I would describe it from the air. It looks very much like looking at cells. There's points of like population, and those are little towns, and in between those, it's like nothing. Like literally nothing. And what blows me away about that, coming from California, nothing, that usually means there's a vineyard, there's a farm, there's a
Oh, it's
factory.
legit
No, no, no,
nothing
no.
out
It is
there.
nothing. It is
Yeah.
nothing. You're not gonna find the bodies out here. It is nothing. But can you
Pick a spot,
imagine?
huh?
Huh?
Pick a spot.
Yeah, exactly. There's no lights. Nothing. Now imagine you're just going in, vibing to no interviews. You got the stars looking so good, shining down, and you're just chilling. Yeah, come on. You know what time it is. I'm telling you, man, he makes really good music. I really like it. I like it a
I like
lot.
the instrumentals here too. It's
The
cool.
only critique I would say is like make them longer, dude. You know,
Yeah.
honestly, a 4 minute instrumental track. One of my favorite artists that's instrumental is Ratatat.
Sure.
Neither,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know Ratatat?
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of them know them because they mixed Biggie Smalls' "Party and Bullshit."
That's the one
That's
I know them
exactly
from.
most people know them because of that. They had these. remix albums, remix one and two. And honestly, that's kind of like the first time I heard Kanye West.
I think that yeah, I think they remixed another song that if I went and searched them right now, I'd be like, oh yeah, this was the jam because all that shit came out fucking 10, 15 years ago too. Now,
Mm-hmm. And no, I really Ratatat is just those kind of bands that, and it was always hard for me to find people to jam with. I used to play instruments, so for me, that's kind of like why I gravitated more towards like electronics kind of stuff.
mm-hmm.
When I was in 2012, when I was working at a gas station before I started working in kitchen, that was my hobby. If I wasn't out filling propane or like cleaning the gas station, I was just fucking around doing little beats.
You know, you'd probably really like his DJ Shadow.
Why does
He
that
does
sound
a lot of
familiar?
like
DJ Shadow. Why does DJ Shadows?
he's old, 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 very influential in the hip hop scene, but he does really good like instrumental stuff too. Like I'll send you a little link here.
But yeah, I think more. I think, but you know what? I think this is like today's modern day like jazz. Lo-fi girl is a thing. Are you familiar with that on YouTube?
Yeah, yeah, you see it all the time. It's kind of like a meme now.
They just introduced like I don't know what he's called, like a little lo-fi boy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They did a pretty good job introducing him and shit. It was a good time, man. What are you listening to currently?
I just started listening to this guy. He's a little more hardcore, like um, gangster. Like he reminds me of Kendrick Lamar, lightweight. His name's Ice Cold Bishop. I've been fucking with him really good, really hard right now. He
Mm-hmm.
just dropped a new album called Generational Curse. Super sick. I like it a lot. Besides that, I mean, I always really like, I listen to Atmosphere all the time. I really like Brother Ali. Um, those are like my go tos, you know. And then like I like a lot of like new stuff that comes out. You know, like the little
Do
hype
you
music
only
and shit.
exclusively listen to hip hop?
Not necessarily. I listen to like some punk music and shit now. I really like bluegrass, folk music. Um,
What kind of punk
but
music do you listen to?
like my roommate has got me into like some British punk music and specifically just these two artists that I've started listening to. One's called uh, I have to pull on my phone. Oh, I'm using it as a webcam. Fucking, I have to look it up really quick. Idols is one. And they're like a British punk band. And then what's the other one? Viagra Boys.
Viagra Boys.
Yeah, Viagra Boys.
They always have the wildest fucking names, these punk
Yeah,
bands.
and they're not like, I think Idols. See, I don't know a lot about punk music, but I think Idols is more traditional, like kind of punk sound. Viagra
Yeah.
Boys is like kind of like post punk, I believe, like kind of like they're like, I think the definition is they're like noise core or some shit like that. I
Uh-huh.
forget it. Not noise core. Um, there was my buddy was telling me about it, and you know, in one ear and out the other sometimes, I guess. Especially if I don't understand the words, I'm like, uh huh.
So are the lyrics important to you?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. So that's literally why I like this music. Um, Specifically these two bands is that like I kind of resonate with some of the lyrics. No, Viagra Boys is like a lot of like bullshit. It's hard to kind of dial down exactly how I feel about them because some of their songs are just like wacky, you know, like kind of bullshit, wacky songs. They're just saying bullshit, random stuff, and then some are
Yeah.
really like deep and meaningful. And Isles is cool. They talk about a lot of like civil issues and stuff like that.
Uh-huh. Um yeah, I used to listen to punk a lot, and it's a combination. It's either really like woke or it's incredibly like crass.
Yeah,
Incredibly
yeah.
crass.
I don't listen like the scum punk stuff where it's like screaming and A lot of horrible stuff.
I like the band Crass. It's actually a band. But they're very like woke. Like they were like the early woke, but like audibly it's very DIY, which is DIY, rustic, and shitty is like the trio. Whenever I
Hmm.
hear rustic or DIY, I'm usually like, okay, so the other word is shitty.
Right.
You know. So
It was
the
very. It's that kind of when people are like it's avant garde. You're like, so it's both.
oh, it's so stupid.
Yeah, it's not gonna make any sense. At my
It's not gonna make sense, but it makes sense to you. Okay, so you're gonna gaslight me into thinking it's something it's really not.
you
I see what we're doing here, Phil. Okay, yeah, no, yeah, no, no,
you
no, no,
just don't
absolutely.
understand it, and you're like, nobody understands this.
You don't fucking understand this, dude.
Yeah,
You're
you
fucking
fucking
reaching
you made this song while you were high on a fucking
on
ketamine
fucking
trip in the middle
ketamine,
of a K hole.
sucking on cat toes. Man, sucking farts out of trainees. You don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Whoa! Don't get us canceled, everybody. I don't agree with the Josue's statements on this
About
podcast.
what? What did I say that's so controversial?
That
I'm
he is
talking about expressing yourself however it in between consenting adults. I'm not judging on how someone identifies themselves. So I don't know what the problem is. You having problem with people who identify themselves differently than you expressing love in a way that you might not?
no, not at all.
Because
But I definitely have a problem with sucking farts. So that's hardcore,
a
man.
lot of people have a
And
problem with sucking farts, but not
that's
everyone.
there was a jackass scene about that, and it didn't go well for the guy.
Is it really? Oh, that's right. He threw.
Yeah, I
I
think it was
forgot
Steve-O.
that was
He fucking threw up
real.
in the thing.
Poor guy. Those movies, man.
I
Jackass
like I
2.
like how like Steve-O is like a paragon for being sober now. And it's just so funny when you like put it up to comparison with like all the shit he did in Jackass and all the stuff he talks about, and they show pictures of it. Like, I remember seeing a picture of him just like in a puddle of his own puke with like whippets everywhere, like beers and shit like that, and like packs of cigarettes, and you're just like, oh man, that's not good. That's not good at all. And then now you see him, he's like so prim and like well kept and like looks so nice and stuff. But if he takes off his shirt, you can see that fucked up smiley face on the back of his on his back from when he was
Yeah,
like
that's there
smoking
forever,
weed.
man.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if that. Yeah, he's more of a don't be like that. But yeah.
that's like and everybody probably knows someone like this when you were younger or partying. It's like taking it past when you need to stop.
Oh
Because
yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I don't think he would have taken it as far as wouldn't have been lucky.
well,
It
if he
just
wasn't
shows
getting
that it's.
paid big money bucks for it, probably wouldn't have been as bad. But
Oh, I know people fucking pay him. People paid him for years. People would have made money off him if he would have died.
maybe, yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
there's always. Yeah, they really let it get really fucking bad with Stevie.
Hmm.
Rod Wavy. Do you know who Rod Wavy is?
Rod Wave,
Rod Wave. Yeah.
yeah, I've heard of him. He's super big. Like people really like him. I haven't really like explored his catalog that much yet.
I don't know. I don't really know what to listen to lately. I've been like I got my '90s to 2020 mix. I've been listening to a lot of punk. I like a
Yeah,
lot of that like blue collar working class like skinheadish, boyish kind of music.
what's kind of cool is fucking Jelly Roll. He's like does like full bluegrass like country music kind of. But he was when I first started listening to him when I was in high school. He was doing like rap music, and now he does like kind of like a country bluegrass thing. And it's really good. He's a good singer. He's very talented.
So there's this so in the skinhead culture, they really like to listen to a lot of reggae. because you can trace back the skinhead subculture back to Jamaica and like the UK
You talking about like UK skinhead culture?
yeah, UK skinhead culture, even current, a lot of them still listen to reggae and stuff
Like
like that.
punk skinhead culture, not
Yeah,
neo-Nazi skinhead
not that
culture.
neo-Nazi shit.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no. And so in me diving into skinhead culture and listening to different reggae, one was this guy called Judge Dredd. He's a white reggae singer, and he would put out these, like, I would call them like a series called Big Series. Big One,
Mm-hmm.
Big Two, Big Three. And the one I heard was Big Seven. And it's basically like reggae music. And he's like not singing. I guess you could say he's speaking in rhythm, but he's taking like nursery rhymes and just making them just a little dirty. Like Andrew Dice Clay, but not as filthy.
Yeah, I don't think Andrew Dice Clay is that funny. Sorry if I offend anybody with that statement.
That man is according to Joe Rogan, that man is a legend.
He's
So I don't know what your problem with him is.
I just don't think he's funny.
Joe vouched for him.
Yeah, Joe is he's the king of who's funny.
He's king of podcasts.
I I totally
He's
remember
your
his
boss.
stand-ups all the time. They were definitely remarkable. I'll let me go Google a joke from one of them. I can tell you.
I for the last day of high school, for the last day of school, the teacher said we could bring like a videotape, like a movie
You
or
brought
something we wanted to
Andrew
watch.
Dice Clay
I
with
brought
you.
an Andrew Dice Clay,
Yeah.
but I was
Was it the one where he's like he wore a leather jacket all the time.
that yeah, you can't say that. Yeah, he wore a leather jacket all the time. That
My
was his
dad had
shtick.
one of one of his shows on tape. That's the first time I watched him was on that, and he was funny when I was 12.
I think he's funny when you're like 15 and that's it. You peak at
Yeah,
15 and then it's
yeah,
like, okay.
yeah. It was funny when I was a kid because it was like ooh bad words and it was new to me. Now I'm like, it's not
It's just
nuanced enough for my my
but he
big
was doing
brain.
stadium shows, dude. He was as big as Dane Cook at one point. He was as
Yeah,
big as Chappelle at one point.
I didn't. I'm probably an unpopular opinion here. I don't really think Dave Chappelle's that funny anymore either.
What? How can you not think Dave Chappelle is one of the greatest voices of our generation?
I think the Chappelle show is iconic. I'm not a big fan of his new stand-ups. Too
That's
much.
fair.
Like he leans so heavily into like the political and like social commentary when he could have because he was getting so much hate for it, right? And he
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Fuck it, I'm not gonna back off. I'm just gonna lean heavily into it." And it's like I think you should just disregarded it and came up with some funny shit that harkened back to like the old days of when he was just starting out, But
I think it's like when you're younger, you're more like, not careless, but you're more willing to take different kind of risks. Call things out as they
well,
are.
and when you're older, you're stubborn as hell, man. So
And
you
it's
probably was like, you know
like,
what, fuck all these people. I'm gonna do what I want to do, which is
and
fine.
it's hard for me to believe that money doesn't have some sort of effect. Like Dave Chappelle has that kind of money where the man just can't have a fucking house anywhere, man. He either has to
Mm-hmm.
have a house in a very safe neighborhood or in a gated community. He's not hanging out with people like you and me. He has his friends, but who are his circle of friends? What, are they just gonna pick off into their private jet and it's like, oh, you guys want to go fucking Wimbledon? Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what we're gonna do this week.
Honestly, people who are super wealthy and not, yeah, I mean, he's not super wealthy, but people are wealthy and like at that age point, I think most of the time they're just trying to like avoid anybody seeing them out anywhere and spending most of their time with their family. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I would do. Because like when you're young, like you said, you do all that PR shit and you know kind of enjoy the publicity. But like when you get older and you got a family, you're like, leave me the fuck alone. I don't want to fucking deal with you. I don't know. But yeah, I didn't think he was as funny as he used to be. The Netflix stand up that he did. He's got good jokes and all that. He just seems a little washed out, you know.
Yeah, sometimes it just feels where it's like you want everything has to have a deeper message. And
Yeah.
sometimes I just need a little ignorant comedy, you know?
You know what? I just watched. My girlfriend had me watch it with her. Uh, what was her name? It was a roast on OnlyFans of Whitney Cummings. I don't know if that name means anything to you. I
I
don't
know
know.
Whitney Cummings. Was it was it by Comedy Central? The roast of Whitney
No, it
Cummings?
was OnlyFans
Oh,
roast. They
really?
did it on OnlyFans, right? And
Whitney Cummings has a OnlyFans?
no, they did it through OnlyFans. So like
Oh,
they,
okay.
yeah, yeah. And Kishi got it because she is subscribed to the Patreon for this drag queen that she likes, Bob the drag queen, who was
Hmm.
part of the roast. And we watched it the other day, and they were saying some fucking just really gnarly fucked up shit. It was very much like old, like early 2000s Comedy Central roast, and that's why they did
Yeah.
it OnlyFans because you can say whatever the fuck you want to say. They had in the it was everybody at the roast it was such a broad group. It was like I mean some of the people I didn't know because they're like influencers or TikTok people. But remember Jim Norton is he used to be on the roast all the time back in the day on
Yeah,
Comedy
yeah, of
Central.
course.
So he was there, and then Bob the drag queen was there. This guy who because he's like a alt right comedian or something like that. He
Hmm.
was also there, and then like a couple of these like TikTok ladies. I don't, and like some random people. I didn't really know the rest of them, but they were saying some raunchy ass jokes, and it was very much like it felt like old comedy, before everybody kind of got a little sensitive about everything.
I think we're
Oh,
coming.
Donnell was there from the old. That's why. That's what reminded me is from the old Chappelle skits. Donnell,
Which
he
one was
had
Donnell?
the big bug eyes. He's like, oh, he always did the "I'm rich, bitch" at the end.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Don.
he was there too.
I
Didn't
think
say any jokes. It was really funny. He got up and he like bombed. He ended up reading some text
I
on
like
his phone.
Donnell because sometimes I can't tell if he's being funny or if he's just like fed up with shit. Like,
I think it's
like
a mixture of both.
whenever he's the best is when I see him and he goes on the Breakfast Club when he used to be the OG Breakfast Club
Oh,
and
I didn't know he was the OG Breakfast Club dude. Does
no,
he
no,
get
no,
like a
no,
spot
no.
on there,
So
or
are you familiar with Breakfast Club? You are,
not
right?
too much? Like
No,
I'm familiar with some of the stuff they put out
they
now. Like some of
it's Charlemagne, DJ Envy, and
no,
Angeline.
yeah, I know who it is. I just didn't watch any of their old stuff because I
Reese,
watched it
like
kind of.
last year, Angeline, I think that's right, Angeline, she left the show. So now it's Charlemagne and Envy.
Yeah,
So that's why like the old one they used to have they had Donnell on many times. There was one where they were just like pressing Donnell about like I think whether he was gay or not, and Donnell was just not having it. And then Charlemagne just whips out this like butt sex toy with like these like cheeks. He was slicing. Come on, just touch it. He was so
Lil Dicky's got a show. It's called Dave. And like I think it's in the first episode. It like starts off with him. He's got like this sex toy. It's like the bottom half, so it's cut off at the torso and then the butt cheeks and shit. And he's like trying to use it in the bathroom and gets caught using it or whatever. Uh, but it's very much like what you just said reminded me of that. It's like the the are you gay? It's like no, just sometimes I like to use a little the booty cheeks.
it,
He did a on that little Diggy show. He did a whole I think it was like a 14-minute rap about his in the show. He goes to like jail or prison or something like that,
mm-hmm.
and he's like rapping about it, and it just devolves into him getting like prison gang raped
What?
essentially in the song. And they're like, I gotta stop you here. He's like in it cuts from what's happening because they're showing it like cinematically, right? And it cuts to him in like it's like a writer's room and he's talking to the dudes that want to like produce a song, and he's like, "With there, I still have like another 10 minutes." Like, no, like I gotta stop you there, dude. I don't know if we're putting this song out. If you like cringy, like embarrassing comedy, you should check out fucking uh Dave, Little Dicky Show Dave.
Do you think he'll go back to rap? I don't think he's going back to rapping.
I don't know, man. I mean,
I think it's almost like that was the vessel to get him out, and now he can be
yeah.
like a comedian who
Well,
happens to rap.
you
Because
know what's funny
honestly,
too? The whole show is about him trying to make it as a rapper. So like, it'd be weird if he just pivoted from not doing any rap to like making TV. But
he could still. I just because the only person I can see doing what he does, the only person that does what he does it the closest is like Weird Al Yankovic, doing that sort
yeah,
of like funny,
like
you know.
funny rap. I would say like Young Gravy, I guess, does funny rap. Um, Adam Sandler does funny rap.
Young Gravy didn't is Young Gravy the same one that did the I want ramen rap?
No, no. I think the kid that was wearing like the full ramen
Yeah. The full
suit.
ramen pushing the cart.
No, no, that's not. No, that's not him. But very much a similar vibe. I feel like
I like that kind of shit. Yeah, but it's
it's
like
wacky.
it's wacky, but it's like after the first maybe one or even two, it's like okay,
Have you
cool.
heard Pete and Boz?
No,
They're like two old like British drill rappers. They're like 75, 80, something like that. They be rapping, and like it's very well produced, and
is that gonna be
I
us
did, but
listening to like 75-year-old drill rappers?
right, like after like 50 years of listening to rap music, and you just can't agree with any rap music anymore. You're like, I'm just gonna start rapping. Fucking
I think in the future, everyone's just gonna stop making music, and it's just gonna be AI. You'll have the best writers with the best like
I've heard a
digital.
few. We were talking about the AI thing when you sent me. It was like that Biggie song. He was rapping like he was
As
rapping
Tupac.
Easy. I thought it
Oh
was,
yeah.
but like, and I didn't like that because like it didn't make any sense for Biggie to
It
voice
seems
rap
like a
Easy.
very like plain. That's a plain example of just like a little cut and paste, nothing
Yeah,
crazy. It's
yeah, yeah.
you're not.
But someone recently, I watched a video where someone did like a Drake song or something, and they wrote a song how he would write a song essentially, right? Or
See,
not him, but whoever's writing the guy's fucking songs. They wrote it in like this cadence, go with the style, and had the AI rap it, and it sounded, like your run of the mill Drake song. And I was like, damn, like this is kind of scary, Now people are just gonna be, you don't have to work anymore. You just have to fucking have your AI do it. But I guess it opens up the. I mean, at that point, it's just personality contest, right?
you could do Biggie. I mean, I feel people will do Tupac first.
Well,
Tupac
I
is
mean, they did Tupac first with the hologram.
exactly,
Yeah.
but I think they can do what they did with Drake. They just simply like again, that was just a simple easy E mix. That's easy, but to get like an AI to listen to like all of Biggie's music, get his mannerisms down, the way he raps, the
You
way he
just have to have
enunciates.
someone write a song for the AI to rap.
Hmm.
Someone who is familiar with
I don't even care.
his artistry.
I don't even need it to look. I don't need a hologram. Like me, I'll
No,
listen
yeah.
to a new Biggie song if you told me.
At that point, it'd just be somebody is Biggie, just having his voice rap the lyrics that they write for it.
Damn. The local guy at the Hollywood who's posing as Biggie could be him.
There you go.
Then it's just anyone. Then it's just anyone. Then now you're just filling a spot, and now you
Yeah,
just never die. Now you're like 007.
imagine
James Bond is just a name.
how many more Elvis impersonators we'll have in Las Vegas on the little
Oh
robots.
man, yeah. They'll never let Elvis die. They'll never. AI Celine Dion, AI Britney Spears.
AI Tina Turner, recipes.
Yeah, I think we're just kind of like circling back to more local shit. I think we're
You never
getting our
heard
full.
local?
I think we're getting our fill of tech. I mean, it's fun, but I don't know. I guess people just like being curious. I feel after a while I get kind of tired of it. I'm like, can't I just listen to some good old fashioned grandpa's guitars?
Also, like the guy's dead. I don't want to hear any new music that's
I
like
don't need a new
it's
Tupac album. I like Tupac. You could have left it alone. You know,
yeah.
like I'm glad you released the rest of the stuff, but I don't need an AI.
No, let people let new artists make their own wave and shine themselves.
I agree. What happened to the Slickus? What happened to Slickus? I don't know what did happen to Slickus.
Yeah, well, that's an inside joke that we don't know. I guess.
No, look. 12, 10, 19. That must be someone's birthday. But isn't this like, this is a vibe, man. His music is a vibe for sure. You know what I like about the live stream is that every stream we usually have like max 2 people, which is kind of nice because it makes it more like a little kickback,
Mm-hmm.
more than like if it was like a bunch more people and then it just feels like it's just you and me on a stage. We're supposed to sound
Yeah, I'm
like when
not ready
Conan
for
would do
that.
the live things.
I don't even need celebrities to read bad tweets about them. So
They're not even that bad at tweets.
I'll have to hop on Twitter and write some bad tweets about you, and you can read them.
Yeah. Please, everyone, submit your roasts to Aaron or to me. You guys can send them at a hoe named Sway on Instagram, and I will read them live on
Yeah,
air.
I'm down. Roast me. There's not much you can say.
um, let's see. Here, you know what I could say? I could say that the After Service podcast is sponsored by SD and Philistine. After Service clothing for those who wear the kitchen on their sleeves. Founded by the idea that we are not one thing, SD and Philistine is the acknowledgement of both the loftier and depraved sides of humanity. Like in the kitchen, like when you put out really nice food and the kitchen doesn't look like something you'd find on the magazine. Escoffier magazine, Epicurious magazine, um, New Homes, and I don't know, Homesteads.
Two
A nod to all of
homesteads.
us, recognizing that all humans are tragically and triumphantly both, never praising or devaluing one over another. That's where you get those like eyes wide shut parties. It's like the elite, the the aesthetes of society. And when no one's watching, they become Philistines. But what people don't know is that as cooks, we live to be both at the same time. That beautiful food you made, do you really want to know about the guy behind the beautiful dish? You know, Gordon Ramsay uses racial slurs when he talks about his cooks. You'll never know about that because you'll never know about the lost episode of the After Service podcast.
At least he did 15, 20 years ago. That was bad.
it, yeah, some might say that. Recognizing that all humans are tragically and triumphantly both, never praising or devaluing one over another. We simply acknowledge, not judge, that we are all at once both SD and Philistine. Nowhere more apparent than in the professional kitchen. Check them out at aesphil.com. That's aesphil.com. So you know what? You don't be ashamed of the darker side of you. Don't be, you know, what I mean, if as long as you're not going around hurting someone, I think you're okay.
You're not turning into an American Psycho. You're
You're
good.
not committing. You're not being doing any. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
If
well,
you're
if
like
it
doing stuff outside,
don't
that's
commit
illegal.
felonies, but like don't commit felonies that hurt other people.
Don't hurt other people. And if you're gonna hurt someone, make sure they have your consent. Okay?
Yeah.
Hurt people with consent. That's fine. Okay?
Was
I get it.
consent's like 9 tenths of the law or something like that?
Yeah. 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 Something like that. So, man, my hairs is not doing me any favors tonight.
Oh, it's wavy, man. You look good.
Nah, it is. It
Man.
was. It
Look
was
at
like a
you
hot, humid day today, so it's just
in
wild. My
Colorado.
hair.
One of
Yeah.
them hot, humid, deserty Colorado days. Sounds like
Yeah.
a
But
peaceful youth, but
then it turned. But then it turned rainy. Now it's just gonna rain all night. That's Colorado.
I wish it would rain here. I mean, we got that the drought and all that.
We just got out of our drought. So tell us a secret about yourself, Aaron. What makes you a Philistine? What's something? Tell us something.
when
Share with the stream
when
something you
I'm
would not
when I'm
tell.
cooking
You wouldn't
when I'm cooking
tell.
at home, if something hops out of the pan, you know, lands on the floor, I just throw it back in. Let the heat purify that shit.
Fuck, man.
Don't tell my girlfriend.
That's really gross. No, I
Be
can't
broke
top
to
that.
be
I
wasting
really
that
can't
shit.
top that. Okay, you know what the worst thing sometime not at work. Holy fuck, not at work.
No, never at work.
No.
Ne- Absolutely fucking not. But comfort of my
Sometimes
own home,
sometimes
a few beers in.
this is enough. I don't need to go and wash my hands. Sometimes I wake up and you know what? This is enough. Let's go crack some eggs. It's okay.
Yeah, man. Hey, sometimes you wake up in the morning and you're like,
I imagine your fucking bare ass feet on that dirty ass floor, like cat hair and dander. Who knows what else you're bringing in from the outside? A nice like cut piece of chicken falls. You're like, ooh, cannot you?
yeah,
There you go.
if it's
Throw it back
bad,
in, and you
if it's
see that
bad,
cat hair just shrivel
there's
up. Oh,
visible debris on the ground when I lean over to pick it up, you get a rinsey, little
you're like,
rinse boot.
oh, where do you think you're going?
A little, a little, it gets a little rinsey, and you're like, gotta re-season, season the chicken.
That's your Homer
Gross,
Simpson
man.
moment. You didn't have to answer that question, man. I was just trying to
You
fill in the
you
time.
asked for a dark secret.
Okay. Let now tell us about something that you think that makes you esty.
Um, I make my own sauces at home.
Ooh, like what?
Like, if I want to do teriyaki something, I'll make my own teriyaki sauce. Want to do like a barbecue, I'll make my own barbecue. If I want to do whatever, I'll make my own sauce to do it with. Like the other day, I was cooking chicken. I made a black garlic, uh, like soy based, kind of like the. You remember the butternut?
Mm-hmm.
The soy, yeah, I did kind of like that with black garlic in it, and like some scallion whites and stuff like that. Cooked all my chicken in there and laid it over some rice.
So
I do, yeah, I do all my own sauces.
let me ask you this. Speaking of making your own sauces, I do this, and I don't know if it's gross or not. Probably not. Maybe it is. Sometimes after I'm done cooking, I like to save the grease.
That's
Not
fine.
like not the white stuff, like you know how it turns to room temp. No, like the oil that I use. Because in my head, it's almost kind of like when
No,
you're
you
making
just
like
put it.
Nashville
You put.
style oil. You
It's
know,
just lard. It's lard at that point. It's a fucking manteca. You fucking save your drippings. You put it in the fridge. You could use it for everything. You add it to fucking vegetables when you're doing like a sofrito or something like that. Cook all of it in the lard that you've been saving.
like to me, like butter, oil, lard. I mean mayonnaise. To me, those are more like blank slates than anything else. You know, like
Mayonnaise, I wouldn't lump in there because you can. You can't heat up mayonnaise in a skillet and then fry that. Oh, I guess you could. I mean, I wouldn't, but
I sometimes use it when I make grilled
grilled
cheeses.
cheese, yeah,
Yeah,
I do grilled cheese
to the
with
for the
onions
moisture.
too. Yeah,
If I were to make you
and
like a
soda butter.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's not yeah, and what is it? It's just egg yolks and oil.
Hmm.
It's just gonna break down, you know.
Yeah.
So you're go- Yeah, so that was the only thing, not the lard part. Just me, like I just sometimes like saving like oil. I'll buy like a plain, like a canola oil or something that doesn't have a lot of flavor, and whenever I'm cooking with it, I'll save that oil, or just add a little salt or a little paprika here and there, and then I'll fry it back up and cook something else with it. I feel like it adds to the change. Sometimes I'll cook chicken and maybe
I wouldn't.
yeah.
Just for a record, I wouldn't consider that as the. That's more like poor man stuff. Like you can't just throw it out. You're like, I keep it, use it for later.
I know. I just kind of just see it like,
I
you know
can't
what?
just toss this shit.
It's those little things that I've just like picked up in restaurants where I'm like, oh, I never thought to save it. You know, some people do that. You know, sometimes or
But I mean,
the
that's what you
perfect
say.
example was
You get a
the
chicken. You get a chicken. You roast the chicken off, right? You eat the chicken. I save the bones, because I want to
isn't
eat
that what
raw chicken.
Nashville style is anyways? You know, it's just a fry sauce with some added seasonings and you just add it to
Not
your chicken. We used to do it.
Nashville, as from what I understand, is just like it's like schmaltz, but then with a bunch of spices in it.
Yes, more or
Like
less.
really, yeah, a lot of really hot spices and stuff like that. Our Nashville was not hot at all. It's
No, it was never I just thought it had more spices to it. That's why I preferred it over regular. It was just like a nice added
oh yeah, it's flavor. It's all
flavor.
flavor.
That's it. But I wasn't like, ooh,
I just always
ooh.
thought Nashville like fried chicken and stuff was always supposed to be real spicy. I thought, but never. Where we were cooking it, it was never really spicy at all. But we are serving a lot of like hoity-toity people. They probably didn't want to blow their bunghole out.
Look at that. We've come full circle. We started talking about sucking farts out, and now you're talking about blowing buttholes out. In
Yeah,
this episode, we've covered, you know, the SD portions of it, of me talking about making love to
which
certain areas of the
oh,
body that Aaron doesn't seem to agree with.
is sucking farts the
And
SD
we've
part.
that's a very SD thing to do. It's part of the loftier things in life is to suck
just
out a
because
fart of someone that you
just
care
because
about.
very few people do it doesn't make it like elite. Like
Because so many few people do it
it's not
makes
like
it elite.
it's not like a spaceship trip to the moon, you know, on your Elon Musk private shuttle. It's just sucking farts out of some.
Sucking a fart out makes you a Delta Force level lover. Tier one. Tier one lover.
I don't even. I'm not even sure what that's supposed to mean. Because weren't those the guys that got all fucked up in Somalia and Black Hawk Down?
Navy SEALs, Delta
Delta
Force.
Force.
Navy SEAL is the
I'm
blowing your butt out
I'm
thing.
Green Berets, Rangers.
There you go. You know what? I was watching someone react to Black Hawk Down. You're right. They were Delta Force. And see, we've come for full circle. And just like our sponsor would be
Again, we
proud,
did a whole nother lap
SD
and came full
and
circle again.
Philistine, sucking farts out and blowing farts out.
Delta
This has
Force
been
style.
the After Service Podcast, brought to you by SD and Philistine. I'm going to say one more time. That's AESPHIL, with my co-host Aaron. I was Josue. Thanks for joining us on the live. And if you're watching this as a rewatch, thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. And hopefully, maybe someday you can catch us on live. If not, that's a-okay. Thanks for listening, anyways. We
We
will.
love you.
We love you so
We
much.
love you.
So much. Not enough to suck